This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hello and welcome back to Party Loaded. It is Wednesday the 18th of May. Sitting here as per usual. My name is Luke Retallick. I'm joined by Jam, Ollie and Imogen. Hello guys, how you all going? Thought I'd mash you together
Hi, friends.
I'm bopping my head to sick tunes.
Which nobody can hear, which makes you the crazy person in the room.
You do have a bit of
Thankfully-
like a comical bobblehead thing going on.
Not a video feed, so I am okay.
Nice. Well, I'm really happy to be back online chatting to you guys and podcasting tonight because it's been a really crappy week as far as being
You've been
super
fully sick,
goes.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been so sick.
Luke has been fully sick.
So sick that he had to spend all week at home playing games.
Oh, so sad.
Oh no!
Look, it was
tragedy.
The tragedy of that aside. Like, there's only so much gaming I can do before actually, what I'm about to say is probably going to be a fucking lie. So,
Quantify it for us.
Say is a horrible lie. Yeah.
quantify it.
Hours in Uncharted, hours in Stellaris. Give me a number.
Okay, I'll without looking at Steam, you can guess the number for Stellaris. Have a crack. How many hours do you think I've spent in Stellaris this week?
Can I cheat?
No, you can
would say
cheat
32.
after you guess. 32?
I'm going to say more than 32.
A
No, 'cause he
full
played
solid
Uncharted.
40 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
40 hours.
I'm going to say 33.
Okay. The grand total of hours in Stellaris this week, 68 and a half.
Did you just
I was
leave
closest.
it running?
No, that's actually
Did you fall
playing.
asleep on your keyboard again? Was it just like Z, 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 Z?
Suddenly he has a galactic empire. Is that what?
exactly.
Little ships flying in circles.
Oh, look, I'm not
For
saying
those
it
of
was
you-
intense gameplay the entire time, and I'll get onto that when we talk about it later. But yeah, no, that's actual play. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for those of you playing at home, we have been playing games with Luke before where he goes really quiet, and it was because he fell asleep. And all we hear is like heavy breathing on the other end.
Not at all creepy.
No.
no.
Be like, Luke,
When it comes to heavy breathing in games, we'll talk about what you guys have been playing a bit later as well. 'Cause I'm sure that will come there into it. So we're gonna first just check in with you guys and chat a little bit of X-Men. I thought just at the top of the show because the new X-Men movie is out tomorrow, and I'm kind of excited for it. So are you guys all keen on X-Men? And if so, which is your current fave? If you had to pick one, something.
Oh,
A
that's
movie
easy.
or a man?
A man. Jamie.
What?
Well, an X-Man, I
This
think is what you're
conversation
saying.
got
An
weird.
ex-person, all right?
An ex-individual.
An ex-individual, yeah. And I mean the letter X, not former person. 'Cause that would be a whole other conversation.
Although it is like a flashback movie, so could be an ex-person in the current. Except it's a fictional story, so not following actual timelines, Imogen. That's all right. That's all right. I got there in the end, guys.
Well, Imogen, you're currently playing Jean Grey in a D&D campaign.
I was going to say,
that
it's
we're doing.
really easy for me because I really like Jean Grey / Phoenix / however she comes out in the movie.
Yep.
And I really like Sophie Turner, so slam dunk.
Nice.
I'm in.
Ollie, you've got a Professor X vibe going on in general, so is that...
That's Harris.
We just
Thank
have
you very
to
much.
cripple him.
Except he can walk.
You went
He's
there.
much taller.
I was intimating that perhaps it was the Cool Calm Collective psychic mastermind, but if you don't want to take the compliment, then that's on you, buddy.
Yeah, because
I'm
he
shaking
was
my
totally
head.
expecting a
I'm
compliment from
shaking
you.
my head.
Yeah, I do not
You
believe that for
can't,
one
you can't
second.
see it, but you should be able to feel it.
You really are Professor X.
Yeah, Luke's nose is going to start bleeding soon. I'm going to hate him to death.
If that was possible, it may have already happened.
Nice. I don't know. So did you actually have a preferred character aside from Xavier?
No.
No. See? So I was actually right, is what you're saying.
No, I don't prefer any of them.
Oh, okay. And Jam, did you have any in particular?
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's been a while since I've watched them. I really like Michael Fassbender.
Okay.
Magneto is cool.
Fassbender.
He's
I
too
think
OP.
he's fabulous.
Magneto is ridiculous.
Magneto's
It's gonna be all-
OP.
Assassin-y, so...
Needs a nerf, please.
No.
Professor X and Magneto are so OP.
Yeah. It's true. But they cancel each other out. So it's when they're on the same side that it kind of makes the difference. But yeah. No,
I'm
Yeah,
also
I
a
was
fan of Olivia Munn, so I hope
Yeah.
her character isn't completely
Yeah.
cheesy,
Pants.
lame,
the completely
cliched.
slicing through cars mid-air Psylocke action. Yeah, that does look pretty sweet, I've got to say.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I think at this point,
Cool special
without having
effects.
seen the movie associated with that trailer, she could be almost content that she's got the coolest scene in that footage that we've seen already. So that's cool.
3-point superhero landing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually really disappointed, sort of speaking of X-Men, that we haven't had a half-decent X-Men game that I can really point at for quite some time. Has anyone actually played an X-Men game that is worth its salt, or is this like a
I've never
really...
even played an X-Men game.
No, never.
I
Not one
played
single time.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance way back on the Wii. And that had the X-Men in it, but other than that, no.
I think I played a Lego game with Wolverine in it once. I don't know what that was. Was that a thing? Did
There
I
is the
dream
Marvel
that?
Lego games, so I think that he actually appears in the latest Avengers one because that's got like a massive entourage of Marvel characters.
Oh, that might be where I saw, or might be the Lego movie or something like that.
Yeah,
Who knows?
No, it's interesting.
But no, they really don't. Maybe they've got that locked down though. It's so complicated with the X-Men and the Marvel universe and how that all fits together because not all the rights are owned by the same studio. So
It is true. They've made it work with Spider-Man though, so can live in hope that one day they'll blend the worlds and actually make it work somehow. But that's a lot of moving parts. I think there's a huge challenge
so many
going on with that. Yeah, but I would love to see a decent X-Men game. So I think there's a lot of untapped potential there that they could work with, and I'm kind of amazed that they haven't done it to date, to be honest. But
Because they're all basically gods.
yeah, but I mean, it's not like we haven't had video games where that's been the case before. It's yeah, I don't know. It's, in video game terms, I think there's definitely some options there, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. It should be interesting. Should we just chat about some recent happenings and news and stuff? We're going to change the show format up a little bit this week. So chat about some news first, and then and have a bit of a down to earth on what we've been playing lately afterwards. So one of the things I just wanted to mention quickly at the top of the show that sort of caught my attention this week, you guys may have seen it, is the massive amount of like enthusiasm that I've been seeing around the place for the single player Doom release. So anyone picked up on that?
Yeah, just a little bit of it.
So it's after our sort of discussions, particularly after you took part in the Doom multiplayer beta, Ollie, it's gotten me actually quite jazzed to try something that I'd almost previously written off because the reviews are kind of gushing from what I've seen. Has anyone
I'm more than happy for it to be a great single player game because the multiplayer beta wasn't that crash hot. So I'm more than happy for it to make up for that.
So is anyone else besides the two of us sort of perhaps got enthusiasm for single player Doom, or is it going to be all Overwatch all the time?
Overwatch all
that's
the
a good
time.
point.
I'm
Overwatch
really
is
not.
coming out.
Yeah, I'm really not interested in a single player Doom campaign. It's not my cup of tea. And if I'm not playing online with you guys, and you guys are all playing Overwatch, then why would I choose to play Doom?
Yep, that is fair.
It's that simple.
That is fair. All right. Well, other stuff sort of going on this week. I think all of us now have seen the new Overwatch animated short, the Hanzo short, which was called Dragons, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ollie, you were pretty
Just
gushing
keeps
about
knocking
that.
it out of the park.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on it in general?
It's just good world building. It's as simple as that. Like, I
That's
want to
it.
play a single player campaign of Overwatch, which tells the story.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And it's not. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more call for that. Like I tweeted out earlier today, like their continued commitment to building characters and creating a narrative, like an actual narrative behind this game. Like it could very easily be a throwaway, like just these characters in the game and it's cool, but they are making it so much better.
Like,
And when you play the characters, you feel like you understand why they're that way and why they're paired up or why they're strong against certain characters. It's amazing. It's so
wish
good.
that the game that we had reflected the background of the world that we had. And it's
It
so
might
far
do.
apart from the maps, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, but
Well,
give it time. It's still...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said so far.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing too that a lot of people forget is that Overwatch, before it was Overwatch, was Blizzard's sort of
MMO.
unrealized MMO. Yeah, it was Project Titan.
Yeah,
so
Titan.
they've got potentially a massive amount of world building that's actually been done, which is still all sitting on the cutting room floor, ready to be used in later endeavors in that setting. So they've got probably stacks of stuff to draw from. It's just a matter of how and when they actually integrate it into the game that has born life. So yeah,
Exactly right.
The animation itself is ridiculously polished. Just so good. And it actually explains why the map that it's set in is the way it is, because the map that it was in had all these arrows sticking out everywhere. Just like, I guess that's cool. And now we know why every arrow is in the spot it is, and why that little banister thing is shattered. So I was like, that's really cool.
That's interesting you say that, because I know we were talking about the setting being used in that video before, but I didn't even realize that the arrows that Hanzo had fired during the video were in the ground and stuff. That's really cool.
Where we did one of the last sort of to capture the point where we were hiding on that kind of left-hand side of the dojo, that was where that main part of the short is filmed, and it was like arrows and broken stuff everywhere.
Oh, there you go. I'll be looking at that as soon as I jump into that map again. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh,
No, I quite like that.
Well, we don't have long to wait. It is by the time we record the show next week, the main release will be pretty much happening right then. So,
And I think the last short comes out on the 22nd. I think it's the Soldier 76 short.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're not in the UK or the US, because they're actually in select cinemas, actually showing all of the shorts together as like a cut together mini movie, which is a cool idea. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go to the cinemas to see them, to be honest, but
Well, yeah, I don't know how
you're
long
a
that
super
would
fan.
be, because each of the shorts is about 8 minutes.
I think the whole thing goes for half an hour, I want to say.
Yeah.
No, it has to be longer.
No,
it has to be longer.
This
Yeah.
one was
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah,
Well,
so it might actually be close to an hour event. And that's okay.
Could it be that long, though? Because, I mean, they're going to have
'Cause
five
then
of them in
not
total.
just doing the shorts, they're doing other bits for it as well.
Yeah, apparently there's like unreleased stuff that they're putting in between and all sorts of stuff. So to try and lure, because you wouldn't go just to see what you can see on the internet. There'll be extra stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, hopefully you
I don't
can
know,
see it on
given
the
the
internet
choice
afterwards.
of seeing something on a big screen or a small screen, if it's a nice visual thing, I'd prefer seeing it on the big screen.
That is true. So the other Blizzard thing that's sort of been doing the rounds news-wise this week, I don't know if you guys have caught up on one of the large esports tournaments that happened in recent weeks, DreamHack, which was held over in Austin, Texas. Massive event for several different esports, particularly big one for Hearthstone as far as my interest goes. And I spent a little bit of time over that weekend sort of watching some of the coverage of the Hearthstone event. Unfortunately, one of the Hearthstone games ended up being pretty controversial in the way that the Twitch sort of support and chat ended up progressing. So there was a player whose name escapes me at the moment, an African-American player, who, while he was actually playing and doing extremely well during one of the final rounds, the Twitch chat just blew up with a huge deluge of just racism and just rubbish generally. And it's not something that's unexpected for Twitch, but I guess that kind of highlighted at the time one of the problems, that it's become one of those platforms that is synonymous with trolling and racism and just the general filth of the internet. The point that was made when that player was sort of doing really well was he sort of mentioned, my family was watching the event and watching me win this tournament.
Yeah.
And they were potentially
awful.
on this chat seeing all of the stuff that was being mentioned.
Just ignore the right-hand side of the screen, please. Don't look at that.
With Twitch, you can hide that, and I do for many things. The problem with Twitch and the news that's out is that they're going to try and work with Twitch to work with something that they've been sort of trying to pilot, which is a new sort of system of moderation, which I'm assuming will be some sort of delay and or feed or something along those lines. But the problem always with Twitch is that you need physical moderators who are going to be quick enough to nab these things and mute them before anyone would really... I know, right? And then watching smaller streams, like this was a huge stream, lots of viewers, but even smaller streams, moderators' jobs, like they have to be superhuman to catch this stuff. And it's become like a sport, if anything, to go on Twitch. So it seems interesting to me that Twitch are like, we maybe have something that might be along these lines, because I feel like maybe they should be further along with something like that, given the amount of negativity that it tends to throw at Twitch. generally as a streaming platform for these big, international level events. Like if esports is going to start taking off, then Twitch is going to have to start looking at it seriously. Otherwise, they'll move to other platforms to stream it or build their own.
Well, I think we're past the point where, we're talking about if esports are taking off. Esports are taking off. It's just a matter of, who cares enough about this sort of thing to, take action. So, from Twitch's perspective, they get their revenue from the video feed that people watch. They kind of, the stuff that happens on chat doesn't impact directly their marketing model. But I think that they probably need to understand at some point that if it gets to a level of toxicity that actually turns people away from using the service and watching the feeds, then people aren't going to be watching the video content either. So,
what I meant more was if Twitch are going to start using themselves as a platform to stream esports, not if esports was a thing, because it very obviously is.
Yeah.
But if Twitch are going to start making a play over someone like a YouTube Gaming or, studios like Blizzard themselves just going, you know what, we'll just make our own. We've got the people and just host their own. Twitch need to get on top of it because Twitch make a lot of money off, Joe, whatever his name, like doing his own little stream and you can make your own money and that kind of stuff. But if they want to get more serious about being a live streamer for things like cons and that kind of stuff, then they need to get a handle on this. The commentary on that particular game, when I've looked further into this article, is just horrible.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad.
Just
it's
horrible.
Really bad. I mean, I didn't watch the stream in particular in question, but just reading about it, I was equal amounts disgusted and not surprised, which is kind of a bad place to be. It's almost like the way YouTube comments have degenerated in recent years too. You never go to YouTube to read the comments because you expect to find the same sort of crap. Which is a shame because it's a really, really useful medium for communicating with content creators. And the second that that's taken away, like a good example being PewDiePie sort of removing the ability to add comments to any of his videos about a year or two ago, that was a huge thing at the time because, the internet's biggest YouTuber, saying that I do not want to interact with my audience on that platform, that says something about how bad things are getting. So, yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, good on Blizzard for stepping up and actually, taking a driver's seat in trying to combat the problem. I mean, one sort of wonders whether it's their battle to fight in the first place, or whether it should be Twitch's. But I think, at the end of the day, somebody needs to do something. So it's good that they're at least looking at it.
Yeah, it sounds like they'll at least they're looking at it together in a way. It just seems odd that Twitch are like, we have this thing that might work. Yeah. Okay, great.
Our house is on fire.
Resounding endorsement.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it's a weird one. The other thing that popped up on the list this week is, you guys remember game trailers that shut down in recent months? We actually spoke about it on the show a little while ago. Yeah. So a huge amount of content has sort of been, in the void since that was announced, which is a real shame because it's, there's a good decade plus worth of, online media there, which now it looks like IGN has actually stepped into the breach and they've acquired game trailers and all of their previous archived content. And they've got plans to publish the entire archive online. They're sort of rolling it out piece by piece because obviously that's a massive undertaking. And in addition to that, they've actually committed to going through a lot of game trailers, stored data and pulling out unpublished stuff that is still usable and actually adding to that material and, continuing to create more content. It won't necessarily be under the game trailers branding, but, the fact that the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of work that's been put into that is still going to be available is a big thing. And, I think that a lot of people who have used game trailers in the past for games that they still may have an interest in and want to learn a little bit about, potentially have good reason to go back and check that old footage. So it's really, really super cool. I think it's a good move for IGN. I think it's almost like a good, public opinion piece for them in terms of stepping in and supporting the content creators that are, now finding themselves out of work, although they have sort of splintered off and started a Patreon for their own endeavor now, which is interesting. So, but yeah.
I do find it interesting. The skeptical side of me thinks that YouTube themselves must be involved in this somehow, because what it does is drive traffic away from, other smaller sites where they might be able to republish possibly illegally the game trailers content if they were able to nab it offline into YouTube. And now YouTube's going to be the only place that you can find these things. I don't know. It just seems to me like there is some sort of background assistance maybe. YouTube were really keen to nab this over somebody else. I just found that interesting.
Possibly. I mean, the
IGN aren't the only ones who win.
Well, yeah, and I mean the vehicle for the content being monetized, if it is on YouTube, is already in place. So it's pretty easy for IGN to kind of just step back into the void there and pick up that revenue stream straight from where it left off. So
Exactly right.
yeah. I think it's probably a huge amount of work that will go into re-establishing that archive, but I think you're right. The money would be a good incentive for doing that. But I mean, at the end, it's probably a win-win for everybody, so it's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. I'm just interested.
Yeah.
Just thinking outside the box.
Yeah. So
And other crap sayings.
yeah. Well, you want to think outside the
Buzzwords.
box. Have you seen the 10-cent box?
Oh, that segue.
Yeah, that was so bad. That was like trying to fit a square box into a round hole.
Yeah, sure. A 10-cent piece
That was
into
awful.
a box. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you actually know about the 10-cent box? The
I don't.
latest announced console.
That fucking name.
Jam needs to be schooled.
Let's call it the TGP box.
Yeah, TGP is much better.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so the company Tencent basically is the massive sort of behind the scenes owner of such companies as Riot Games, so League of Legends makers. Yep. They're a Chinese-based company, I believe, that's been sort of in the background quietly acquiring some pretty massive, video game entities in recent years. And in terms of sheer dollar value of company net worth, they are pretty much the biggest player globally at the moment in terms of what they own. And they have just announced that they're actually going to be bringing out a new console called the Tencent Games Platform, or the TGP box. The bits of news that they've sort of announced about it is that it's going to be powered by a 6th generation Intel Core processor running Windows 10 and what they're calling a TGP box mode. So it's kind of like a mode where you can download and stream games to the console, and it's going to be able to run all of the games that they are currently sort of involved in. So there's some big names like League of Legends, FIFA Online, Monster Hunter Online, Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit. A lot of those games, Tencent have actually been involved in sort of, importing those titles to Asia. And, they've partnered with all of the developers behind those titles. So, and they are actually working with other third-party developers to bring more games to the platform, sort of moving forward as well. So is that not the weirdest bit of news that we've seen in
I reckon
recent
it's cool.
weeks?
Yeah.
Well, it also makes sense because China last year lifted its game console ban, and so this makes sense now that they're going. China is a huge market for any industry, absolutely massive. So it makes perfect sense to have their own console because then they don't have to import it constantly. So they can just go, here's one, here you go.
Yeah.
I reckon it's an incredibly smart move.
Yeah, I think that from their company's perspective and from the Chinese market perspective, it makes a lot of sense. But when you sort of look at what's happening with consoles in general at the moment and the continuing rise of PC gaming, you have to wonder whether it's a move that's sort of doomed to fail long term. But I don't know, it's a weird one.
It's only been released in Asia, and it traditionally things like this will take off very well if it's made locally. Or it seemed to be a local company. It's the nature of the market, really. I think it will do well, but I don't know that we'll see it.
Yeah. Well, if it's a Windows 10 powered gaming console, I think it's a reasonable bet that it could be Steam compatible as well. That could be a pretty interesting feature in terms of competing with, like, say, the Steam machines that Valve have partnered to create in recent times as well. So,
It would have to allow traffic across the Chinese firewall, though.
yeah, I've got no idea how any of that works. That's a weird one. So, but just a totally bizarre, out of the blue sort of bit of news. Other sort of console related stuff. Have any of you been eyeing off potential new acquisitions of Xbox Live gamer tags when Microsoft releases about 1 million of the previous Xbox Live gamer tags back into the wild that have not been used since the console's launch, or the original Xbox console's launch?
Hey.
I am going to for sure take a look at that list and nab something awesome.
It's not a
Have a quick
list.
browse through a million
There is going to be,
names.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Light
yeah.
read.
Oh, there will be a list?
There will be a list, yeah.
I thought it was just a searchable thing, so you had to input and get told yes or no.
Well,
Yeah, they said
given the
they were
size
going to
of the list.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still, I mean, it's going to be huge.
Is
but
jam available? Because, then yes.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be a mad scramble when that list is released because a lot of people will be like, trying to snap up a lot of the popular ones again. And it's going to be almost like a domain name rush kind of thing. But it's
Very
interesting.
much so.
Anyone can change their gamer tag at any point, and the first change is free, but you actually have to pay if you do it after that first change. It's a good
I haven't
opportunity.
changed mine yet.
Yeah. No, it's not something I've ever been massively concerned about, but a lot of people who use their gamer tag as part of their brand when it comes to, streaming online or doing, video content and that sort of thing, I think it really would make a significant difference for them. So it just reminds me of a video that I watched that Rooster Teeth put out. I think it was one of the Achievement Hunter videos a couple of months ago where they played a joke on Ryan, I think it was, and actually changed his gamer tag, or maybe it was Jay Navarro
Yep.
Jr. before he left the team, and they changed the gamer tag while one of them was actually off on set doing another video, and they came back, found out what happened, and just lost their shit. It's like your identity's been stolen, sort of thing. Pretty serious for some of those hardcore
someone
gamers.
else took his name whilst he was gone as well.
Yeah.
So then they had to negotiate with this person to try and get his name back as well.
Yeah. How much
Mistake.
of a shitbag would you feel like after that? That would be crazy bad. But yeah, no, of all the things that have been interesting in this month, that's just one of the weirdest ones that's come up. Gamer tags back available. It's like, okay, cool, sounds good, Microsoft. All right.
This is your chance, guys. We can reinvent ourselves. We can be whole new people online.
Yep.
Very exciting.
I don't know.
I'm certainly excited. How'd you hear it?
Yep.
All right. Well,
That is Ollie's excited sound, by the way.
It's really not.
Well, something else you might be excited about. How would you like the idea of a new Game Awards show featuring kids? Is that something that we're interested in?
Yay!
I am so excited.
Also known as all of the games that Imogen might enjoy.
Yeah. Jeff Keighley, so you might remember him from such shows as the Game Awards last year and the Spike Game Awards previous to that. So we spoke a fair bit about that at the end of last year. The plan is, apparently, word on the street, is that he's actually developing a new kid-centric gaming awards show, which is going to premiere this autumn in the US. So coming up very shortly. That would be within the next 3 months or so. So he's just announced it on Twitter. And, it's basically called the Kids Game Awards, and it's going to stream live. Basically, it's going to be produced on the YouTube broadcasting network that's owned by DreamWorks Animation, and will feature games that are more in line with, the kids' sort of taste. So it's almost like a Nickelodeon-style awards show, I think, for anyone who's seen the Nick Awards, where they do a bit more of the sort of funny, wacky stuff, or the Teen Choice Awards, that kind of thing. So
It's going to be cool.
Yeah,
I think it's an awesome idea, and I think they're going to vote for most popular YouTube gamers and those types of things, and that'll open up a whole new world, and because a lot of those guys get missed out in the mainstream game awards. So it'll be cool, I think.
my 6-year-old son will no doubt be very interested in this. It'll be right up his alley, in fact. It'll be quite hilarious. Just on that topic,
It is interesting. Yeah, YouTube making shows for kids now.
Yeah. I mean, we've really reached a point of ascendancy when that's starting to happen, isn't it?
Oh, my God.
I mean, you know that a lot of the audience is, around that age group as well, which is just scary to realize that that's the way the world is changing. But it is the case. I mean, we grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons on, the regular TV networks, and, the generation that's, going through childhood now will be growing up watching, streamers on Twitch and, video content on YouTube. And I'm already seeing this happen with my own kids, and it's frightening the hell out of me. So it's weird. I did actually mention this to you before. This is a really good example of where this sort of stuff is starting to change life as we know it. When I got home from work today, my son Ben actually recommended a game to me that I should try. And, as you do when kids sort of say, "Oh, Dad, you should play this," you sort of, look at it with a pinch of salt and go, "Oh, yeah, that's a cool idea, son." Oh, that'll never happen. I actually went and investigated it, and the game he suggested to me looks super fun.
What was it, out of curiosity?
It was called Riddle School, I think. So I'm going to have to look a little bit further into it because apparently there's a number of sequels to it. It's been out for a little while. But yeah, like I was genuinely impressed. I was like, wow, this is something that I didn't know about before. And I've been educated by my son on a game that I didn't know about. So kind of cool. God knows what else he's going to be suggesting in days to come, which might be
he did
worse.
once ask if he could play Five Nights at Freddy's. So
Yeah. Well,
it's a balance.
He actually had a conversation with my wife a couple of days ago explaining to her what animatronics were. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah. That's kind of
He's
scary.
for sure he's been watching those videos.
Yeah. At the rate at which they can educate themselves on YouTube these days is just frightening. The sponge is like nothing else. It's just crazy. Yeah, so any other news that's caught anyone's attention this week, or is that a good summary?
That's a pretty good summary.
Pretty good summary? All right. What's everyone else been doing this week? Let's chat about what sort of games have been in the spotlight for us. And
Jamie's been mounting people.
Oh, actually, just before we talk about this, can I just mention?
No, you can't.
No.
Tough. Jamie, mount people. Go.
I want to just read. I want to read the comment that Jamie posted earlier this week in our WhatsApp chat, which was along the lines of, "Please, friends, come online so that I can mount you." Jamie, please
It
explain.
was dearest friends, I wish to mount you.
Yeah.
And then everyone complained of headaches and having to wash their hair. I was like, fine, I'll mount myself.
The first comment Dave said, "Oh no, sorry, I got a bit of a headache." You're like, "Oh, that's no good." I'm like, "Yeah, I have to wash my hair." Jamie hasn't got this. Jamie does not know where we're going.
No, I put a little emoticon with a bandaged head. But
Yeah.
it's a freaking hilarious game. Luke, have you seen any of it? Or just the shit that we posted?
I've just seen the shit that you posted. Like the impression that I got.
I need to reinstall it.
Yeah, I'm just going to explain to you what I understand of it, and you can fill in the gaps. So it looks like a balanced style game played with stick figure type characters, and from what I can gather, it's turn-based, and you have to use mouse-based button controls to position limbs so that you don't topple over and hit the ground. Is that kind of the gist of it?
Sort of, but no.
Vertical quap.
Okay.
Yeah, it's co-op. You've got each limb's controlled by a different button. I use the buttons on my game controller, my Xbox controller.
Right.
And basically, you select which limb you're controlling at any given time. And if you hold that down, you can use the joystick to direct it. But if other limbs are touching a surface, they click, they attach, they stick.
It's sticky.
So you have to sort of detach those, otherwise they'll prevent you from being able to reach further. And you just like roll along, attaching yourself to appendages.
Yeah, you know,
As
like when
you
you were a
climb
kid
over
and you
your
used to
friends.
get those little gooey men and you'd throw them at the wall and then they'd flip down
Yeah.
slowly. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like that, except
And it
you're
makes
going
the
up.
most disgusting little slapping noise.
Oh,
as
it's
you
the
do
worst.
it.
The whole, like, as you roll over so as soon as you get into the game, like the background music's like really intense and they're saying like it's a sports-based game. And so it's got this theme there. Everyone's wearing sweatbands and you can make your characters look like all sorts of things, which is disturbing. But the sound when you scroll through the menu is just like a wet slap is the best way to describe it.
Skin on skin.
Skin on skin, moist
You can
slap.
get the theme they're going for.
Like
Yeah.
a turkey
it's
slap.
so gross.
Yeah, and the best part that Jam is not even mentioning is there is an appendage as part of this game
I was
that
getting
you
to
do
it.
not control. You are only
Mysterious
wearing
fifth appendage.
yeah,
Yes.
you are only wearing Speedos, and let's just say that they're not very restrictive in the genital area.
And you helicopter.
Yeah.
As your little guy rolls himself along, you're just constantly helicoptering and dangling.
So there will almost always be a time when you are mounting your friends that you will shove your face into their crotch and it will be awkward. Even when they're on the screen, like there was one moment yesterday where Jams kind of flung herself up and like stuck her arm to me to an inappropriate spot and I went, that's not cool, man. I'm not down.
I couldn't help it. I was going to
No
fall.
means no.
So it's basically teabagging you on autopilot. Is that?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so funny because if you can get yourself to the top of the pile really quickly, so you've got the rounds on a minute. So you've got 1 minute to get slightly further than anyone's got before. That's just the whole gist.
And if you don't make
that
it, you
minute,
can
you're
fall off
eliminated.
entirely, which happens many times. Like
Yes.
that you can fling yourself and fly, and then hope that you eventually stick somewhere.
And if you have
higher up.
spare time at the end, you just start arranging yourself.
Or Jam
That
I'm
makes
going to
some
put that
sculptures.
foot
Yeah.
there and that foot there. Hello. And it's so funny.
So it is.
really is
It's
a
not
good
simultaneous play. It is turn-based. Is
It's
it?
turn-based,
Yeah. Okay.
And there's like a shifting line. So every time you finish your turn, the line will shift to the furthest point you reached, and the next person has to get just beyond that.
So you keep having to climb up. You've got a goat. Your goat anchor is the bottom. And then from that point, you climb up. So once you start the game, you kind of got to slowly shuffle along the ground, and then you got to fling yourself along or up a pile of randomly assorted people.
It's mostly naked.
It's a pile of people. Yeah, mostly naked people. Some of them wearing bibs with crabs on them. Some of them, like, you can get, like, skins that have, like, Steve Buscemi's face and all sorts. There's a Nick Cage one. There's the Subway guy one.
I think that's my favourite.
Yeah, it's really incredibly disturbing as a game.
So much fun.
Honestly, like, and down the bottom of the screen, you've got a team. And you've got a little flag for each game, and it comes up with an athlete name. And so it was great fun commentating
Imogen's
last
commentary
night, as if it was the
is a
Olympics. So we decided that all of our characters were from the Stan. So we had Jamistan, Fnorkistan, Memastan, and Benistan playing last night. And the athletes worked really hard, and all of them had backstories. Some of them had siblings.
So good.
We
and
did have
so
one team that had the
challenging.
only female on the team. Very challenging sport for females. It was great fun. It was good. I really enjoyed myself.
You got to get it. You got to play it. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
So
The
More of us
only
have to play
reason
together.
I was playing it is because I was having Steam trubs with loading my other game. So
Oh no. Am I correct in assuming that there are no female models in the game though? Like it's all
no.
guys?
I'm
It's-
slightly
yeah.
grateful for that.
yeah. It's all muscly guys, but there's different ways you can customize your character. So there's blonde wigs and girly faces and skirts and bras.
Right. Okay.
It's weird.
So you can basically cry and game it up, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
There's no.
I'm glad someone got that reference.
It's not a game for kids, but I mean it's very firmly tongue in cheek. Seems like the wrong turn of phrase in this regard.
There's a not safe for work setting. You can
Is there?
That
actually
just says it all, really.
you can
Yeah.
click a setting to make it
more
safe for work.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Again, big ups Mumble that really sort of made the game last night. If you don't have TeamSpeak or something along those lines, or you're not playing, you can play with people locally, obviously, because it's turn-based. And
You
I
can play
would
with
highly
more people
recommend
locally,
that.
apparently.
Yeah. And there's different game modes and stuff that you can play if you're local. Whereas online, you're mostly just trying to get higher or further than other people. But
Yeah,
it was good. It was
I logged
great
into
fun.
the chat tonight and heard it all going on, and I was just like, "Oh my god, what have I stepped into? This is
I'm
bad."
out.
Well, Ari in the background had "I Believe You Can Fly," like playing in the background as we were flinging ourselves wildly to get to the end. It's absolutely ridiculous, but as long as you're not looking for it to be a complicated game, then yeah, it's
Yeah.
good fun. I am absolutely rubbish at anything to do with being on the ground, but as soon as I can get like onto the pile of bodies, then I was pretty sweet. But
Yeah.
It's
kind
just
of
there's some
hilarious.
really awkward moments trying to go along
Oh,
the
yes.
ground.
Oh, yes.
And the
Just
game's
the
like
worst.
$5, so
Yeah.
that's like nothing.
$5 US.
Yep.
If you, I believe it's probably available on Xbox. Surely, I don't know what other platforms it's available on. We're playing it on PC with Xbox controllers, but if it's available on Xbox, it'd be a great party game. Good fun. Now I'm trying to get everyone to play. Was it Ultimate Chicken Horse? Ultimate Chicken Horse, which is a similar kind of, not a similar game at all, but a good sort of party game.
Yeah.
We're going to build up our
It is
stash of
available
party
on
games.
Xbox on the marketplace.
Oh, there you go.
Marvelous.
Get it. It is fun.
For
Play it
$1.
with your friends.
Really? Oh, well, I'm going to buy
$1?
that.
It's $1? I'm buying that.
Wow.
Hey, big
Yep.
spender.
Well, I didn't
Nice.
have to spend $5 because very lucky for me, Jam's brother bought it
Yes.
for me.
He was feeling
She was
super
kind of like,
generous.
play it. And I was busy playing Stronghold, but in their chat. And then I just get this notification that Sam has built you a gift. I was like, oh, God damn it. Now I have to play.
Nice.
But
So,
yeah,
Ollie, I'm
good
actually
fun.
curious to hear about how your Dark Soulsing is going, because you mentioned today that stuff's getting pretty real in that game, like you didn't expect.
Yeah, there's an area called the Irithil Dungeon, and it's quite a hard area. It's actually probably one of the toughest areas, and there's a particular reason for it. There's a lot of horrible enemies there, and, you know, that's the Dark Souls norm, to have horrible enemies. But there's one in particular that is just so frustrating, and I'll explain why. So their whole thing is you have a health bar, a stamina bar, and a magic bar. They reduce your health bar, not by damaging you, by literally making your health bar smaller over time. And you can get your health bar down to a pixel, so that, like, a sneeze kills you.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
And at one point, there's 3 in a single room. That's how I found out your health bar goes down to a pixel.
Wow.
And yeah, that area is just punching me in the dick.
Nice.
So yeah, it's good times. It's good times.
It's timely that that revelation came out immediately the week after we were talking about like our hardest games, and you were sort of saying that you weren't finding the same level of challenge in Dark Souls 3. So
Yep, it's now shit's gotten real.
That's
Shit's
cool.
gotten real.
It's
And I'm happy because it means, yes, the game's living up to its name. At the same time, it's really fucking frustrating. Like I spent probably about 20 minutes trying to get through this area. Yep, it wasn't fun.
so that pat.
And I got my mate just sitting there cackling away.
That's the worst, when you just want to yell and scream and be an
Oh no,
angry
I
person.
was cursing like a sailor.
Yes,
So-
you have such a potty mouth.
I do, because I restrained it all day. It has to be let out in the downtimes. And then I played some Uncharted 4. And we'll talk about that later.
We shall. Jam, you want to talk about Stellaris? You
Stellaris.
actually
I'm still noob. I'm nowhere near your level.
Well,
I have like
We haven't played 60 hours this week?
Fuck, what's wrong with you?
I know, right? I've got like 3 colonized
Fuck me,
planet,
right?
and at the moment I'm waiting for my influence to grow so that my borders grow, so that I can colonize and mine some more stuff. I'm kind of
You
stuck
sound like a
within my
space
borders.
fungus. I have to grow so I can colonize.
That, yeah. pretty
You're a
much.
space fungus.
Pretty much. I still haven't figured out how to. I think I have to research more before I can, but how to customize my ships well.
yeah.
But I'm doing pretty good now at building up my home planets. Unlocking the tiles, building on them, so that I'm generating more resources.
Stellaris, the one you have to insure the ships. Which one was that?
You don't need to insure them, no.
Kickstarter.
No.
No, this is a different game. Ignore me. Some other space game.
No,
Well,
in
I think on
Stellaris.
EVE Online, you can.
No,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a new game they kickstarted and they made like a ridiculous amount of money and you can pre-buy ships and
Oh, you're not
like that.
talking
Can't remember
about
what it's called.
Star Citizen?
Yeah, Star Citizen.
is it Star Citizen? Could be.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
It's something in space where you have to insure your ships.
Well,
I don't know.
Stellaris is different. And the first conflict I got into, I lost my ship.
Aww.
But it was just one little ship, and I didn't know what I was doing. And it was a space pirate. Goddamn space pirate. So
Did
then
he
I
have an eye
hunted him
patch and that
down, and I smashed one of their little mining outposts, and I got to find the other space pirates so that I can have my vengeance. But yeah, it's cute. There's so much to learn, but I like it, and I'm going to be playing more.
Game has a super steep learning curve. When you actually start getting into proper conflicts, oh my god, stuff gets real. It gets real difficult.
Oh yeah, I'm just at basic level, and I'm going because all my ships are at the most basic level. My corvettes are just, the first kind of corvette that you can buy. They haven't got upgraded majiggers yet. Okay, your leaders. You can recruit generals, engineers, scientists, captains, something like that.
Yep.
Do they die when they reach their life expectancy? Is that why they're
Yep.
just vanishing? Okay, that explains that. Because I'm like, I'm sure I
They
had a
die
guy.
when they reach the end of their life.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I had a
Is
guy
death
managing that fleet. Why has that fleet got no supervisor? What are they doing all the way out, like 2 star systems over, with no supervisor?
Well,
So,
some of
yeah.
It's like
the
having a
upgrades
class
actually-
with no teacher that's
People
having
die.
a party.
Well, this is a game played over centuries. Like, it's not a game that's played over like decades.
Yeah.
My game so far, I'm like 1,000 years in. I think it's just
God.
crazy. But you can actually unlock as part of your tech upgrades like a longer lifespans for your leaders. It's one of the things you can do. So Yeah. So I've got like humans now that are bioengineered to live out lifespans of over 200 years each, which is just crazy.
You went humans?
That's not
I
cool,
went
man.
little dog people or something.
Oh, don't get me wrong. My empire is
Amazing
not just
you go
humans.
cat people.
I
Yeah,
know.
me too.
Yeah.
No.
Was that not an option? You only had dog people?
I can't remember.
There's quite a few.
You
Cat
sound so
people?
disappointed.
I know.
I actually think that the alien
So disingenuous
race
to be a dog
models,
person when
the
you're
alien
not.
race models they've used for this game, like all the different sort of species that you encounter, are super inventive. They look really cool.
I
They
looked them up.
do.
They are cool.
Did you craft your civilization from the ground up, or did you choose a preset thing?
I used okay. So I actually had to start over since the last time we talked about it last week because my first run of the game, I made some serious
Cheating.
mistakes developing and realised that it would be
Yeah.
easier to start over again. So
Cheating McCheat face.
that's not cheating; it's starting over. I literally lost all of that
You
progression.
cheated. You lost, and
lost?
started again.
Yeah,
How dare you?
you
You have to
lost.
uninstall the game now. You're done.
Never
Uninstall.
again.
Hardcore mode.
Except for you. You're cut.
There is actually an Iron Man mode for this game. I don't know what it does, but it sounds deadly. So it's a hard game. It is actually a really hard game. I've sort of reached a point like nearly 70 hours in where I have really mixed thoughts about this game now. Like, don't get me wrong, I like it a lot, and the amount of game time that I've spent in
You'd
it
hope
should
so after
illustrate
70
that.
fucking hours.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think I like this game. I'm only 70 hours in, but
gonna
yeah,
need
it's not
another
bad.
80.
Not bad.
the issue that I have is that
Far out.
I feel that you kind of, once you get past a certain point with the game, it has a massive diminishing returns factor in terms of what you actually get out of the game time put in. So, like, the opening phase of the game where you're actually establishing your empire and building it up and getting your technology tree sort of started and all that kind of stuff, the bit that Jamie's doing at the moment, awesome fun, like really, really cool. You know, the game mechanics and all of the different aspects to, you know, the resource management and the expansion and all that sort of stuff is just, it's more innovative than any game of its like that I've seen before. It's top notch. It's really, really good.
Are you about to spoil it?
No, I'm not. It's not a narrative-based game.
you
Jane.
just
I can't really
spoil it?
spoil it.
Oh, for
Did you
fuck's
just
sake.
spoil it?
Can we not please start
God
that crap?
damn it.
He didn't. It's not a narrative.
So the next thing that naturally happens
confused.
when you're
I've not
building
played it.
an empire is you start getting into conflict, and the conflict sort of stage of the game is really cool too. That's when stuff really starts getting real. A lot of the risk sort of comes in terms of the diplomacy options you've got to choose and that sort of stuff. And you know, if you make missteps there, you can literally spell the doom for your empire really, really easily.
You mean like when you took on the alien guys because they were only superior to you and got your
Yep.
butt handed to you?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Now, the later stages of the game, which is kind of what I'm doing at the moment, I mean, ultimately the goal is to, you know, conquer the entire universe. You want to expand your empire out and take over everything, pretty much. Now, the problem is that once you sort of get to the point where you're starting to become like one of the major superpowers, the amount of time it takes to actually expand your empire and start to beat off some of the opposition is so grindy. It takes forever. Like the game has a fast setting and a super fast setting for play, and the super fast setting, in my opinion, is not fast enough to pass all of the time that you need to actually do this.
Patient.
Yeah, well, oh man, it takes forever. Like the two main ways that in my particular situation I've worked out are the best options for me to actually expand. The first one is to sort of take on alien enemy empires and basically, you know, beat them to within an inch of their existence and force them to cede planets to you. But you can only get them to do a couple at a time usually, which means that you have to then declare war on them all over again, and then you have to, you know, smash their fleets again, and then, you know, take over a couple of planets again, and then rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat.
Oh, life is hard.
It just takes a long
Blue.
time. But the other option is that you can basically, as one of the the war demands, instead of taking over their planets wholesale, you can force them as an entire empire to basically become your vassal. So, you know, you become their supreme overlord sort of thing. They kind of answer to you, and they have limited diplomatic options as a result. And after that, you can actually sort of absorb them into your empire. But there's like a ticking timer as to how long it takes for that process to actually complete. And the bigger their empire is, the longer that timer is. The most recent one that I just took over, which was, you know, a medium-sized empire, the timer for how long in game terms it takes to integrate fully into your empire was up around the 1600 months sort of period. And that is a freaking long time in this game. Like, in terms of actual gameplay hours, that's probably a good 5-6 hours. So I'm
I'm gonna call it, guys.
yeah.
Stellaris, Luke's new Hearthstone. What do you reckon?
No, I don't
Because you
think
just
so.
said that you're not sure you like the game, and then you spoke about it for 15 minutes solid.
I'm not sure about this one, guys.
Yeah, but
here
it's
we go.
great and amazing, and there was words
Actually-
like innovative. It was all sorts in there.
I think
I'm
it's a
going to
great
jump
game.
in really quick with something that I thought was really cool and awesome. The Battleborn introduction animation.
Oh,
watch
yeah,
it. Even if you don't want to play the game, just watch it. It's a cool little 5-minute film. I recommend it. See, that's how you do it, Luke. 30 seconds.
Also, I tried Arma 3 on the free weekend and managed to kill and crash everything. But it was funny. And I think I'm going to get it.
You're going to annoy our friends so
I
much.
know. Jimmy,
Hey,
Jimmy,
Jamie,
no,
what are you
Jimmy,
doing?
Jimmy,
Jamie!
no. Oh,
That's my helicopter. No! Don't take my tank. No!
I had so much fun.
You're going to make our friends
It
so
sounded
angry.
like just the worst.
Well, if it's still on
Yeah.
sale, I may consider it because it does look pretty cool.
It's
yeah,
back up to full price. But I'm sure it'll be on sale again.
Yeah,
It's Steam. You just got to wait.
yeah, that's it. And they have potentially leaked the dates of their summer sale coming up shortly. So end of June, it looks like. So I might be holding some funds for whatever happens to be popping up on sale then. That'll be cool. Yeah.
Shall we talk about the topic of the week?
We should. So, topic of the week,
Topic of the
unsurprisingly, after we
week.
sort of started lightly discussing it last week, of course, is the big release of the month for many of us, which is Uncharted 4.
Not Overwatch.
Well, I mean, Overwatch is definitely up there too.
Oh, well.
Okay, fair correction. Okay. So now, before we sort of get into this, Jam is kind of like the resident experienced person, as far as I understand, with the
What you
Uncharted
saying?
series so far.
Did not know where that was going.
So,
Yes.
So what you're saying is she's
Wait.
played all the other games,
I've played-
like me.
we haven't finished
2.5.
3 yet, have you? Yeah.
Or
Wait, so I've actually played more of them than you.
It's probably 2 7/8.
That would make Ollie the
nearly
resident
can
expert, I believe.
finish. Yeah.
So Jam,
I've
what's your
actually finished
overall
them.
sort of experience with Uncharted so far? What do you think of the series? What are the things that you like about it and that sort of
I
thing?
love it. As I've said before, I'm terrible with detail, but it's always been quite gorgeous. The characters have always been, and their dialogue really, I don't know, just a little more authentic than you'd typically find, which makes it so much more engaging for the storyline. And some of the level designs, stunning, just beautiful. I really like it, and I was one of those fans who really, really wanted Nathan Fillion to play Nate in the movie.
Well, is that still on the table potentially?
I have no idea.
My
Might
understanding
be a
is that
little
it is.
too old and unfit for
I
it.
know, but it's him.
Well, he's got a bit of time now that Castle has been cancelled, so
But I still don't think, I think probably someone new and fresh deserves the role.
yeah, that's fair.
Should it continue? But yeah, really good games. I can't even remember why I didn't finish the third one. I think
'Cause it was
something
so
else.
good.
No, like
Clearly.
I think something else that I was just,
like
that little
Imogen
bit
and
more
Ori.
passionate about. Came
Shut
out.
up.
I remember us talking about this a couple of years ago, and my understanding is that Mass Effect got in the way of you finishing that
I
off.
think it might
No,
have
that's
been.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that.
yeah, I totally
Because also,
understand
I
too.
mean, I don't play PlayStation often. I don't have a PlayStation 4 yet, but of the few titles I had on my PlayStation 3, it was just all of the Uncharted titles.
yeah, sweet.
Good games. And because of that, and because I plan to catch up and then complete and play this one day, I'm going to say goodbye because I don't trust you, spoiler face.
Spoiler McSpoiler
She means
face.
Luke, by the way, not
Yeah, I mean
no, that's
Luke.
fair. We talked about this beforehand, so Jam's going to excuse herself for the remainder of this
because
review.
he was all, no, I'm going to be really careful. I said, yeah, but that doesn't
needs to
mean anything.
use a
And
sensor. He's going to have to use
he
a
still
sensor.
promises to try and be careful.
Yeah.
I'll
But we
be careful, but
probably
I
should put it
given-
out there that there
Given
may
how much
be
I enjoyed this
spoilers.
game, I don't want to wreck it for Jam, so I think that's entirely fair.
Well, we
Yeah.
don't
I
want to
mean-
wreck it for our listeners either.
There's going to be a lot of people who want to hear about the gameplay and how the graphics go this time round and that sort of thing. But I'd rather not have any expectations other than that hearing people are really enjoying
I'm going to
it.
be a mod chat for Luke. I'm going to be like a Twitch mod, and Luke will be like, and this will be like, no, stop that.
Bad,
No.
Luke, bad.
All right.
Well, just if you preface
And
it with,
I'm just
hey,
here
spoilers.
to sound pretty.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, actually, Imogen,
dear.
you'll have an interesting part to play later with some comparisons I'm going to make with other games that I know that you have played. So, yeah,
Okay.
it'll be
So
it'll be good.
I will fare you well. Enjoy.
Bye, Jaguar. Enjoy
and
mounting our friends.
Behave. Yeah, probably.
Or weirdly enough, your family. Yeah.
Bye.
See you, Jam. All right, so I guess Imogen's got a fair point. We should probably preface this for any of our listeners that we are going to be talking about the game. We're going to do our best to keep as much of the discussion away from the core narrative because that's kind of the spoilery territory.
And then we remember it's Luke talking.
Yeah,
So,
I'll do my best. I'll do my best, but please be
If you
aware
listen
that
to
there
our
is a risk.
spoiler episode, he gets real excited like a puppy,
He just
and
can't
he just
help it.
wheezes all over the floor. Yeah.
Spoilers everywhere.
And the only way you're going to know it, you're going to go, huh, was that a spoiler? Yes, it was.
But that being said, you're the exact inverse. You played the game. It has a menu. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Me?
So
I'm not.
yeah, you and Jamie are really bad.
No, she always says it's a spoiler, and I don't like spoilers, but I don't know how big
Oh
a
my
spoiler
god, the
is.
book has chapters. Fucking spoiler.
No, I do
All right,
not
should we
care
get on
that a
with it
book
then,
has
on that note?
chapters.
Yep, let's spoil the
Far
shit out
out.
of it.
All right. So anyway, Ollie, do you want to sort of start with an overview about what sort of game is Uncharted 4 and what impressions did you get
It is
from
a
kicking off?
linear adventure narrative game experience. Mm-hmm. In that regards, there's no like branching choices or anything like that. It's pretty much set plot. Here you go, with a very Indiana Jones adventure style thing. So
Cool.
lots of archaeology, lots of parkour around the place, that sort of
Parkour.
thing. Lots of history lessons, and just really, really well written, like inter-character dialogue and banter.
The setting reminds me a lot of Indiana Jones crossed with the Nick Cage National Treasure movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
only those weren't good.
Yeah,
They were
but better, but much, much better. Yeah.
But yes, that's
Yeah.
not an unfair comparison.
So, the main protagonist is Nathan Drake, of course, who's been the star of the previous games as well. So, what do we know about Nathan sort of going into this game? I'm not familiar with his back history, but obviously, Ollie, you know a bit about him sort of prior to Uncharted 4.
He's a cool archaeology guy that finds lots of cool treasure stuff and doesn't really get much for it.
All I know from the internet is he is apparently hunky.
Yes, he is quite the lady candy.
And that made me sound like 100-year-old woman. Why did I say it? Excellent. You're welcome, internet.
for the plot.
You're welcome, internet. There's a soundbite, Luke.
Yeah. But yes, he is definitely, doesn't get a lot of rewards for it. So he's not like, I found this amazing thing. I'm in my millionaire mansion. So he's an everyday guy, sort of thing, who's apparently a ninja.
Yes.
In
Did you say
disguise.
he's relatable as a character?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, he is, because he does have flaws and he does make mistakes. He's not just, I am perfect in every way.
He makes typical man mistakes, I guess is the fair way to put it.
That is a fair way of
What's a
putting
typical
it, yes.
man mistake?
Have you ever heard Luke talk? There you go.
Does he speak for all men? Because that's a worry.
No, but he does provide useful examples.
Okay, all right. He's a good EG. Good job.
Yeah. Now, if I recall correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ollie, Nathan Drake is voiced by Nolan North. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So
Ollie facts.
the main voice
Spurious
actors
facts.
that you may know in this game is, of course, Nolan North playing the role of Nathan Drake. Troy Baker actually does the voice work for
It is
a
Nolan
main
North.
character. Sorry?
It is Nolan
Confirmed.
North.
It is Nolan North, yeah.
Confirmed.
Troy
Google
Baker
confirmed.
does the voicing for another major character in this game, and one of the villains or villainesses is actually voiced by Laura Bailey, who,
It
Imogen, I know
is.
you know who that is.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah. So, and she did a really solid job with it as well, I got to say. So,
She did tweet out earlier this week saying it is weird being in a game being angry at herself.
nice. Interesting. All right, so how can we sort of set the scene with this one without sort of giving away too much? I guess we can kind of limit
Wow,
ourselves
Luke,
to what
you actually
they...
just spoiled the game for me a little bit
Oh, why is that?
by saying that.
Saying what?
The main villain's voice actor. Because I just looked up who she voice acts.
Oh no! It happened already.
Luke, you're the worst! No, I don't actually mind, but it's fine.
Don't look
Damn
up
it.
who she voices, people.
Well, prior to the game being released, the stuff that Naughty Dog had actually given away in terms of promoting the game was they basically had shown video of one entire level. which was a car chase scene. They had
Yeah.
shown the main villain, which is exactly who we just spoke about. I forget her name. It's
Don't say her name.
I can't remember. She's a an African sort of military style sort of chick. I forget her name in the game.
This is amusing. It's Nadine Ross, by the
Nadine
way.
Ross, that's right. Yep.
Is that not a spoiler? Did we not just cover that was a spoiler?
Yeah, look, fuck it. If you're going to do
Yeah,
it, go whole hog, right?
We're just going to go balls to the wall here, just go full spoilers.
God damn it. All right.
I
So
don't
anyway,
think it was because
something
even
happens.
Laura Bailey, I was being like contrite because even Laura Bailey has been hiding it on her Twitter. So
Yep.
yeah, might need to cut that bit out. Or,
Luke's just fucking cool.
No.
yeah, cool guy.
All right. So in roundabout terms, the gist of this game is that basically Nathan Drake gets pulled back
Unbelievable.
into the adventuring lifestyle and has like a new adventure that he gets whisked away on due to circumstance that
Sounds
sort of
very
happens.
romantic.
Figures of his past.
Basically, yeah. So
Spooky ghosts.
No, that's unspecific.
yeah. Well, I mean, it is fair to say
He has a
and-
colourful past.
Yeah, he has a colourful past, and you get to explore a bit of it in the game too because they make good use of flashback stuff. So
They do show you a bit more than they did in previous games, which is nice. Like things that were sort of only really commented on and whatnot, they do sort of come out a bit more, which is good. I like that.
Yeah. And from the perspective of other characters other than just him too, which is kind of cool.
Yes,
So,
that is also a good thing.
yeah. I mean, we probably talk about sort of game mechanics and what we found sort of challenging and you know that actually gave us basically some good meat to get into when it came to pushing through the game. So the mechanics are very much a mix, I find. So each level design tends to mix it up quite a bit. There's a lot of I guess parkour style elements to the game, sort of running around and jumping and climbing and a lot of climbing, a lot of climbing.
Can I just say that is for me the least appealing part of the game,
Yeah,
and I'm going to explain why. And it's the same reason I didn't
That's
really like the Assassin's
interesting.
Creed one, because as someone, bit of personal history here, as someone who's done parkour, I did parkour for 3 years, got quite decent at it, and I do rock climbing as well, and I've done that for 3 years, 4 years now as well, and I'm quite decent at it. Watching him do the things he does, I'm just there going, oh, and I have a degree in sports science, so I know how the human body works. Watching this, I'm just like, no, his fingers are snapped. No, that's not how momentum works. No, and yeah, that bit, it just jars me every time. Every time.
Yeah, there needs to be a certain suspension of disbelief as to how
Yes.
superhuman he is.
He is a spider monkey
Yeah.
in human skin.
And not only him, like often other characters that he's sort of working with on different levels are following him around and they're just
That-
as spry as he is.
Yeah. They all follow the exact same animation.
Yeah.
I'm like, no! Why?
Yeah.
So that's my one little gripe.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I think it's a really interesting mechanic in terms of the way he gets to explore the scenery. Though,
Yes, it opens up a whole range of cool level design. Like, the level designs, as Jamie mentioned, for all the games has been top-notch.
yeah,
Like, genuinely impressed with the level design and the mobility afforded to you throughout. Like, yes, it's a fairly linear path, but you got a couple of bit of options here and there.
yeah,
And that's
it's
nice.
definitely not an open world game.
No.
No, so yeah,
Invisible railroads is the term I like to use.
yeah.
Sounds
I mean,
like
there,
it.
there are some areas where you've got a couple of options as to how to traverse, a particular climb.
Path, yeah.
yeah, but not a huge range of different options.
And I don't mind that because it is that narrative-driven game. So I am okay with that. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah,
So those sections basically for me are like semi-quick time events. Press triangle, press R1, do as the little thing pops up. So I have nothing against that. I don't mind that at all. It's a mechanism which works very well for the game. And then it sort of alternates between like free roam sections and shooter sections as well.
Yeah, the shooter sections are interesting. I think one of the things that I actually didn't like about the shooter sections that kind of jarred me out of the game a little bit is every time you approach one of the sections where you are actually going to be drawn into combat and having to sort of defend yourself with firearms, is that immediately as soon as you get close to one of those areas, your firearm actually pops up down the bottom of the screen, so it instantly warns you that it's about to happen.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a shame. Like, I'd prefer if it sort of just came out of nowhere and caught you by surprise, and then all of a sudden you're like,
And then you're
crap.
dead. Like, oh!
Yeah. Like, you're always on edge and ready for it.
Or
that
even if
kind
it
of thing.
goes, and the game does lots of these little mini cutscenes, so even just like little mini cutscene, and now we're into it.
Yeah.
That also would be completely fine. But it does that, well, I should say it has done that a couple of times now. So I have not finished the game yet, by the way. I should mention this. Luke has.
I have. So in terms of hours of gameplay that I got out of it sort of beginning to end, I actually mentioned to one of our friends earlier in the week that I thought it was about 30 hours of gameplay. In hindsight, I think that was probably a little overstating it. It's probably closer to about 20-25.
Okay, well, you can give me an estimate on how long I'll take.
Yep.
So I'm up to chapter 6.
Yep.
And that's taken me 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay, you are not even a third of the way through yet.
Cool.
Yeah. So do you want me to tell you how many chapters there are?
If I'm not even a third, I presume 22, 23.
Yeah. Pretty much around there. So
cool. That's fine.
A lot of the chapters sort of vary in length quite a bit, and a couple of them blend into each other very effectively too. So you'll literally be sort of coming to the end of a chapter without even realizing it, because the action is still continuing, or the narrative is still sort of playing out, and all of a sudden you see the next chapter sort of title getting scrolled on top of the screen. You're like, oh, cool! I'm just wandering into the next chapter. That was smooth. So. Not all of them see a change of scenery. Like some of them are literally just you ventured into a new area within this region, sort of thing.
I'm up to.
And it's at this point I realise what game you think I have relevance to discussing here.
What do you think it is?
It's obviously Tomb Raider. Like everything you've described is Tomb Raider. It's a rolling cutscene.
We'll get onto that in a minute, yeah. Because I think it's a useful comparison to make. So. I think one thing we should probably mention about the game as well in terms of the mechanics is that apart from the actual sort of navigation through the levels and the progression of the story, there is no other progression in the game. So you don't level up, you don't gain experience, you don't accumulate equipment, none of that stuff.
There's collectibles.
Yeah, pretty much, which are more just sort of Easter egg type thingies. And this game's got a few Easter eggs as well. There's some really good ones too. I'm actually curious which ones you found, Ollie, because there's a couple of really good ones earlier on.
The Easter eggs or the collectibles?
Both. There's
some good Easter eggs early on from previous games.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do we want to talk about the one that plays out in the living room scene?
No.
Okay.
No.
We won't mention that. All right. Yeah.
Oh my god, you were just the worst.
He's really bad, isn't he?
You literally are the worst.
I know. It's tough.
There are Easter eggs at the beginning of the game. The end.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
How did you find the character development and sort of interaction between the different personalities in the game, Ollie, so far?
So far, it's got a good couple of throwbacks to the previous games, a couple of they've matured as a person moments, which is nice. Like, he is different to the Nathan Drake of previous games.
Yeah.
And that is immediately obvious.
I found the dialogue in particular was super good. Like, just the smoothness.
The banter is great.
Yeah.
The banter is great. The games have always done the banter and the inter-character exchanges very, very well.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're ever going to stuff that up. They've got that down pat, which I like.
During some of the levels as well, as you're traversing different areas, sometimes you're with another character, and if you do a particular thing or if you go into a particular area of the level, there's actually an option that pops up above their head to actually walk over and engage them in further conversation, which sort of unlocks other sort of collectibles and bonuses outside of the game. I have
done that as much as possible.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, a lot of it's just sort of fun, character building stuff. It's not, plot specific, but it's just a great little extra feature that you don't have to do it at all. But the fact that you can do that and just get a little bit more content is, it's really good.
No, I enjoy that they put it in there. Like, the amount of effort that has gone into both the plot and the characters is immediately evident.
Yeah.
It's basically on par with the amount of effort that's been put into the level design.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the level design, one of the things that I liked the most about this game is that just when you're getting bored of one type of level activity, it immediately switches up the pace to something totally different. Like, a great example being that footage that they actually released prior to the game being launched of that big sort of car chase scene. That comes out of nowhere, and like just after you've done a whole bunch of not that. So, it immediately switches up the pace, and your adrenaline is pumping during that level. And I actually think that particular level, and you'll know it as soon as you get to it, Ollie, like, it is absolutely jaw-droppingly good.
Yeah, because Luke just spoiled it for you.
Well, it comes out of nowhere, so...
Yeah. It is probably one of my favourite levels in a video game, like, ever. I enjoyed it that much. That's
a big call.
Seriously good, yeah. But, it just hit all the buttons for me. I don't know how you'll find it. I think it was very well positioned in the structure of the game to kind of, really rip you out
Oh my God, stop.
Yeah.
It was good.
No,
It was good. It rips you out of any complacency that you may have had.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I am okay with not being complacent.
Yeah. No, it was cool. So the graphic and video style, which is something that I know is quite close to your heart when it comes to games like this, what sort of level of quality would you put this on comparable to?
If you're taking a screenshot, top end, like really, really high end. Mm-hmm. If you're watching a video, I would say 9 out of 10, rather than a perfect 10. And there's a very couple of reasons why. I found that the game, whilst it looks gorgeous, like the game looks great. I cannot fault its visuals in that regards. Its movements I have some issues with. So did you find some of the animations very abrupt? Like they didn't flow very well between each other?
Mostly with the climbing and occasionally when you collide with something. Yeah. Yeah.
I found that in one of the scenes I'm in, you know how he does the arm reaching out animation to just sort of like steady himself here and there, that sort of thing? Or go, I can go that way?
When he clips a corner or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found in the scene I was doing that, he's doing it in a crowd of people, and it's so awkward to watch. Because he'll just walk through this crowd of people with his arm out like, hello, yes, I'm just a walking shape, don't mind me, with my arm out. Yes, I know it's rude.
I actually really enjoyed the part where he was navigating through the crowd of people, and he does it a couple of times, like the way that he sort of changes, moves to the side and sort of squeezes past.
Oh no,
gaps
that's
of people.
fine.
Yeah,
But then his arm will just randomly stick out to balance himself against a table.
Yeah,
Even though there are like 5 people sitting at that table, and it's super awkward.
yeah. No, that's fair.
So some of the contextual animations could have used a bit more polish, in my opinion. But that's me nitpicking. That's like, I can't pick anything else that they've done wrong graphically.
So the way the videos blended in, like the quick time events, I thought was much smoother than other similar games of its ilk as well. Like
Previous games as well, yeah.
Yeah, you really couldn't distinguish too easily where gameplay sort of stops and video begins, apart from the fact that you lose control over your
and the
your
quality
actual
goes
control.
up a notch as well.
Yeah, a little. I mean, usually because it zooms in more than anything else. But it sort of blends into what you're doing pretty seamlessly, I thought. So that was good. Yeah.
They definitely have an element of touching up post-render.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's fine. I have no issue with that. Because it's only minor. It's not massively jarring.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I cannot fault. The only thing I can fault is the occasional animation, put it that way.
Yeah.
Everything else I can just go, yep, looks great.
The natural scenery is absolutely jaw-droppingly gorgeous. And there is a in-game photo feature similar to the one that was in Firewatch Imogen. So... You know how you walk around with your camera in Firewatch and you can take photos of some of the really awesome backdrops and stuff?
I most definitely do.
Yeah, so you can actually turn that feature on in Uncharted and use both of the thumbsticks to sort of click them in to do that as well. And, people have actually, been sort of taking up the challenge and posting some of the best in-game footage doing that in the last week, which has been really cool to sort of hop on and look through. Yeah, I mean, I won't sort of give away what any of them were because that'll be a little too much information about the locations.
Correct.
But like awesome stuff.
I'd finish the game before I go on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn straight.
And the way that the interactable areas of the game sort of blend into the scenery too, like really, really smooth. It's very similar to how in Tomb Raider, like the Tomb Raider reboot games, the most recent two, where like the climbable surfaces sort of stick out because they're very slightly different colored to the rest of the environment, but not in a way that looks unnatural. It's like a white edge or...
I wouldn't say they stick out. They're just that they all look the same because they've made them look the same on purpose. So
Yeah,
that's
they're
true.
easy to find.
Yeah.
So the swinging bars and like the nooks that you climb up are
Like the trees, you can
immediately
always tell you can
identifiable.
run up a tree because it's got like a blank patch on it. That's how you can tell you can run up it.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
it's
not
not
a negative because
No.
it basically stops you going up to every rock face or tree going...
Trying to jump up it,
Nope.
yeah.
No, okay, I can just go to that one.
I've spent a long time trying to do that until I figured it out. Yep.
Pattern recognition, kids. Learn it.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you can immediately notice some of these climbable surfaces too, because on quite a few occasions you need to make split-second decisions to grab one of them before something bad happens. So, yeah. It is.
Spoiler number
No,
5,
that isn't.
6.
That absolutely isn't.
That
That's
is an
a
Uncharted
regular
thing.
feature of an Uncharted game.
I don't know.
It is. It's something that happens all the freaking time. So. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like saying, when you run out of bullets, you do have to reload to stop bad things happening.
Well, no, I get that, but if it was one particular instance and it was a key
It's
moment,
not, though.
that was
It's
a
not.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Good.
it happens often enough to be a feature of the game
Okay,
entirely.
good.
So yeah.
Think how many times Indiana Jones stuffs up in his movies and it's like,
I'm going
oh
to put my
god,
spoiler police badge away. It's away.
holster your taser.
Oh, I want a taser so bad. Do I get a taser?
Only if you shoot Luke.
Deal.
Some of those split
That's not
second
even a
decisions.
question.
Motion passed.
Some of those split second decisions could actually be while you're in combat too, because you might be trying to draw a bead on someone with a gun and then realizing, holy crap, there's 2 dudes behind me that I didn't even see. So you have to very quickly change what you're doing.
Just
otherwise you're
electrify
just
his
gonna get shot.
headset.
Yeah.
And just like a button we'll have. Zzzt. No, it's the no Luke button. No.
Yeah, the combat I have found quite challenging because I don't actually have a PS4, so I've actually been going to a mate's place to play this game. And he very kindly, after I died very quickly in the opening scene, informed me that he had it on crushing difficulty. So I'm playing the game on crushing. That is my default for this game. So I have no idea what that does.
Yeah.
I presume it does something horrible with the timing of events and the amount of damage I take and put out. But yeah, it made the combat quite challenging to start with because I prefer mouse and keyboard, not console stick. So I struggled a little bit to start with until I got used to it again.
One thing I will
Not gonna
say
lie, a
about
little bit
the
difficult.
combat mechanics, there's a choice that you're given when you sort of start playing the game during the setup, where you can turn on predictive sort of snap to target sort of mode with your gunplay. So
Yeah, I didn't have that.
yeah, it's very similar
He's a
to
dick.
Grand Theft Auto 5, where if you aim in the general direction of an enemy, if you've got that feature turned on, it'll move your crosshairs straight over to their main body. Now,
That's good.
I've tried the game out in both modes, like the snap to target and turning it off entirely. And what I've actually found is that especially later on in the game, the snap to target actually makes the game a lot harder. And the reason for that is because it almost always sort of pulls your crosshairs into a position where you're shooting at someone's chest, not their head.
Yeah, and you want the headshots.
You want the headshots, and more importantly, if they're ducking behind cover and only showing that upper portion of their head, the snap to target basically forces you to shoot at the part of them that is covered by the terrain, which is really annoying because you want to shoot slightly higher so you can cap the edge of their body. So, yeah, I would definitely turn it off later in the game. Like it makes things a lot harder with regards to having to aim manually all the time. But you probably find that when you have to snipe dudes out of cover, it actually is a lot easier to play that
I'll
way.
just suck it up and get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when there's a lot of dudes on screen, and that happens often. But yeah, I think in the long term, it's better to learn the skill and benefit from that later on. So yeah. So I was going to suggest that we made some comparisons to other games, and Imogen's, surmised correctly that one of them is Tomb Raider. So
I am so smart.
yeah. So I guess we've covered some of the differences already. Like Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider are much more open world than Uncharted is. Like Uncharted's a lot more on, as Ollie mentioned, sort of invisible rails in terms of.
Yeah, I spent an hour like mucking about killer birds and stuff. You can't do that in Uncharted 4.
Yeah, no. There's definite similarities though. Like a lot of the way that the character animations work, and how the QuickTime sort of movies sort of blend into the gameplay and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like it, like that rolling cutscene. Like I was saying, that in Tomb Raider they do it really well. Like if she walks into something, she'll sort of grab the edge and duck under it rather than just sort of like glitching under it or something like that. They've made that part really well done.
I really love the Tomb Raider games, but I think probably a couple of the best differences that are in Uncharted's favour is that there's a lot more time spent on character development and, the dialogue between those characters. And I think that's something...
you haven't played the most recent game, though.
Well, I mean, that's true, but even from what I
So
understand
we play
of
it
that...
for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, most of the time she still adventures on her own, doesn't she? Like a lot of the levels you are sort of solo. Is that not true?
Well,
Okay,
no.
all right, cool. Maybe not so true. But I mean,
Luke, did you just make me spoiler? Jesus Christ.
One of us.
That's been a standard for Tomb Raider games for forever. Like, Lara Croft is usually a lone wolf. That's how she
Sorry,
tends
Lara
to
who?
operate. Lara Croft.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, Nathan Drake, not as much. I think in comparison, I think he's usually
the biggest thing that they've said the most recent Tomb Raider game, because admittedly the last time I played Tomb Raider was on PlayStation 2, but this time round one of the main comments that I get told is I heard that the game's narrative is a lot better, and in terms of the backstory and other characters, and like you were saying that you were hoping there'd be a definitive bad guy and all of that kind of stuff. Like it's this most recent game is on point. But
yeah, okay. And puzzle elements, I think there's probably, I don't know, Ollie, what do you think? There's probably a bit more environmental style puzzles in Tomb Raider, but a bit more sort of traditional style puzzles in Uncharted. Would that be a fair thing to say?
I haven't come across any puzzles in Uncharted yet, apart from like that opening one, which is literally just follow basic reading.
Right.
So I haven't actually had too many puzzles, so I can't make that comparison yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that Tomb Raider is probably a little heavier on the sort of puzzle elements. And I think
for sure.
Part of it is the open world sort of situation where there's a lot of different ways that you can, solve different challenges in the environment.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they've got a whole system worked into like a hint system basically, because it can be very complicated.
yeah. No, that's probably fair. So yeah, I guess we could probably just sort of wrap it there, because there's not a lot else we can talk about without really, ripping through the spoilers. So, final thoughts on the game, Ollie? Are you enjoying it? Are you looking forward to playing more? How would you sort of rate it compared to other similar games that you have encountered?
Similar games that I've encountered, I would put it up as if this is one of the reasons I want to own a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't own a PS4 for these sort of exclusives. This is a good reason to have one. That's enough. Like, I would have a PS4 because of this game and other games of its caliber.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like, I think
fix your animations. That's all.
Yeah, the style of gameplay, especially if you say it's similar to Tomb Raider, it, as you're talking about it, I'm like, this actually sounds quite interesting, and as a AAA title might be interesting to play, but I don't own a PS4, and that's a big barrier to entry.
And then you have to go to Luke's house, and it's awkward. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, when the game launched, sort of keeping an eye on a lot of the content creators and tastemakers and reviewers out there and that sort of thing. Immediately, the buzz was starting to wash through the waves of the internet, and the game was getting just off the charts good reviews, and I was like, okay, I'm really hopeful.
I get it.
Oh, that was totally accidental, but I'll take it. That was good.
Oh,
Yeah.
what? So your actual funny one, you did by accident.
Says a lot about the man, doesn't it?
And
right.
it's recorded.
It's in my DNA.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it seemed it was going to be really, really good. I didn't have a yardstick at all, having not played the previous Uncharted games, but when I sat down to play this one, literally within the first half hour, probably even the first 10 minutes, I realized, holy crap, this is going to be a game that I will love the shit out of. So I was very, very confident after the first level. So, and I was
he
not
can play
wrong.
60 hours of Stellaris and still not be sure. So
Yeah, different kind of experience though. Like Uncharted, there was not a
clearly.
minute of that game that I wasn't just loving. Like it was like a book that you just couldn't put down. Like one that is so engrossing that you just want to keep turning pages and keep turning pages. That was what Uncharted 4 was like for me. It kept the pace. It mixed things up. It was exciting. It was, the narrative was really gripping. There was a couple of predictable bits, that I sort of thought I saw coming, but then, twisted in enough of a way that I was wrong, and that kept me sort of guessing. So that was good. And, that was based on my perception. Other people might expect different things. So, particularly people who've actually played the other Uncharted games may be better informed as to where some of those narratives might point. But, I had no expectations coming in, so... But yeah, it was really, really sweet, and it's made me super want to play the other 3 games, basically. I'm definitely going to grab the Nathan Drake collection and play those. But I've been thinking about all of the games that I have played on PS4 and the ones that I haven't played on PS4 that I know enough about to sort of make a judgment of. And I think that this is probably, in my opinion at least, the best game available on PS4 now. Last of Us Remastered was probably the one that I would have put on top previously, based on my taste, but this one I think is just slightly going to pip that at the post in terms of being a better game in a few areas. But and again,
I'd agree with that.
Ironically, again, both made by Naughty Dog, so they make bloody good games.
How dare they?
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, Uncharted 4, super good game. You should play it. If you don't have a PS4, maybe you should buy one.
recommend.
if you are still listening after potential spoilers, yes, do play.
Well, after I finished the game, I actually hopped online and went to look for people's gameplay videos of the game because there were certain scenes that I wanted to watch again. That's how much I loved it. Yeah. So
really was like a good book. You got the feels afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. There were bits that it wasn't about going and seeing how people played it differently. It was about going back and saying, I want to see this scene again because it was really freaking cool the first time. And not disappointed by that. There's just some really, really good things that you want to watch again and again.
3 thumbs up from Luke.
Yeah. That's right.
Disgusting.
Yeah. We could probably wrap it there. We've got some stuffs to do. I don't know, Imogen, is it too late for you to go and mount some more friends, or is that still on the cards for you
Wow,
tonight?
that's such a personal question. Yeah, no, I'm going to bed. But I might try and resolve my Steam issues again and see if it's changed and if not, go to bed.
Nice. Ollie, are you going to get a chance to Uncharted again this week, or are you going to have to organise?
Yeah, I should be able to get some in on the weekend. I need to before Overwatch gets released.
Yep.
Otherwise,
I can't believe it's next Wednesday already. Well, Wednesday our time, next Tuesday US time. But yeah, and I've got even more panic because 2 weeks after that, No Man's Sky.
Oh, wow, that's coming up fast, yeah.
There's
Isn't
a lot
it
of
beginning of
games
June? I
coming
think it's
out.
beginning of June. Either that or beginning. If it's beginning of July, that would be even better. But yeah, I think it's beginning of June.
Well, just prior to the episode tonight, I have officially purchased and downloaded Doom, so I'll be able to...
You got it while we were on the podcast?
No, I downloaded it. The download finished just before we started, so...
Oh.
So I'll be able to talk about what I think about that next week, so look forward to
I
it.
may grab it as well.
Well, after spending 60 plus hours watching a space empire slowly grind its way into existence, I'm looking forward to running
Maybe a
through
bit faster paced.
Yeah, running through a level with heavy metal blaring in my headphones, just gunning down demons with shotguns and chainsaws. That's going to be good therapy, I think.
I apologize for the panic, everyone. No Man's Sky does not come out until the 22nd of June. So no panic. Everyone relax. Stand down.
Chilled, yo.
You can play Overwatch for a full month, and then I will go.
Nice. All right. Well, on that note, we should go. So thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to get in touch and give us your thoughts on the episode, please do so. You can hit us on email, mail@partyloaded.com. We're on Twitter @partyloadedshow, and our Facebook page is located at facebook.com/partyloaded. And you should also support us if you enjoy the show by hopping onto iTunes and giving us a review, or support us via checking out our sponsor, Audible. So audible.com, you can take part in a free trial if you follow the instructions at the beginning of the episode and grab yourself a free book in the process. So that would be cool.
So many options.
That's it. Yeah, sweet. But I'm good. I think I'll go and put some more time into the Stellaris. It's a bit of a sunk cost fallacy at the moment. I kind of just don't want to stop playing because of how much time I've invested, but I don't know how much more I'm going to need to put in.
Wow, that brought back some school days learnings. Sunk cost fallacies.
It is.
Nice.
It's bad. It's really bad. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to... I don't know if I can actually finish it. Is it a game you can finish? Conquering every other force in the galaxy must be finishing it. I'm not sure.
It's up to you, Luke.
Yeah. All right. We're out. See you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Laters.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.